So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze. And this is Nezeville. Whoa! I see that so many of you enjoyed our legal series. I didn't even plan it. It wasn't an intended thing. It just started from one topic and it just flowed to the other. And before we knew it, we had a series in our hands. I am so happy that a lot of us, both singles and married, male and female, were enlightened about the realities of things. Thank you to everybody who followed through. I may not have been able to go through the comments, all the comments in the videos, but I saw the ones in the community post when I said that this series was coming to an end. And so many people were like, no, Neze, you must continue. You must finish that thing that you started. And I'm like, what's up with you guys? Are we not going back to our entertainment peperepe news? Are we going to turn this channel into legal series? In fact, people were like, Neze, in fact, you have to open another channel for legal issues. I was like, Kuku Kimi. Kuku Kimi. I have my personal channel, Neze Peperempe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to my second channel too. And if you are seeing me first, if you're seeing me for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Start to drop the thumbs up right now and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way, okay? So we already have 2 channels. It's not possible with the weight of load on my fingers, on my hands, on my shoulders. It's not even possible to have a 3rd channel, but once in a while, I'll continue to infuse all these highly informative videos on legal issues, marriage, property, and all those kinds of things. But you guys called and I have no other option but to respond. So we're going to touch on this last topic. Hopefully is the last topic for now, except something else comes up. So we're going to touch this last topic before we pull the curtains. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the next of kin. I don't intend it to be a very long one, but it's very important for everybody to watch this video because this issue of next of kin, this concept of next of kin is highly, in fact, during my years in banking, I have experience in 3 different Nigerian banks. I have worked in 3 different Nigerian banks. And throughout my experience working as a banker, the most common misconception that I have ever encountered every day is the concept of next of kin, the powers of the next of kin, and the rights of a next of kin. So in today's video, we're going to be critically analyzing who actually has the rights to a deceased person's money in his or her bank account. I'm also going to be enlightening us on the various steps that you need to take, what you need to know, and what you need to do to access the monies of a deceased person saved in the bank. And of course, we're going to be diffusing the most common misconceptions that many of you have lived through your lives thinking about the next of kin. So without further ado, let us dive right into this video. So next of kin might have several meanings and several limitations, several rights and several duties in different sectors. Next of kin in insurance, for example, might be different from next of kin in medicine, but today I'm going to be discussing next of kin, the scope of a next of kin in banking, because throughout my banking experience, oh my God, you know, as a banker, you see a lot, you experience a lot. In fact, as a banker, that's why so many institutions like to hire bankers, because not just by virtue of being a banker, by virtue of your experience as a banker, dealing with people from all walks of life, different kinds of people, high, low, educated, illiterate, crazy, mad, quiet. You meet all sorts of people every blessed day and you learn to manage them. So as a banker, you are considered as a seasoned, exposed, intelligent, and I don't even know how to describe the experience that comes from being a banker. So as a banker in Nigeria, every day in the course of accounts opening, whether individual accounts or corporate accounts, we get to see wives, we get to see spouses in general insist, did he put me as next of kin? Baby, put me as next of kin. They are always so, eager to know who the next of kin is. In fact, there are several times that women would come back after their husbands have finished filling the account opening form to start asking us, the bankers, who their husband put as next of kin. You know, and you also see also, you see some men, they'll come, they'll say, I'm not going to put my wife as next of kin. They'll put their brother or they'll put someone else. You'll be wondering, wow. But you just have to do your job and, you know, accept whatever they put. But the big question is the next of kin that you fill in your account opening form that you submit to the bank the actual person who has rights and access to your funds in the event of your demise? Who can guess the answer? Shall I give you 10 seconds to type your answer? Or you begin to type yes or no? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the answer is a big no. No bank in Nigeria would give access of your money to a next of kin because you wrote it in an account opening form. That is not the process to get access to monies in the bank. At best, a next of kin can be made recourse to in the event that you are wanted and you cannot be seen or found. For example, some people will come to the bank, they will take loans, either the soft loans that they get on the phones or the actual fiscal loans. We can make, I say we, as if I'm still a banker. The banks can make resorts to this next of kin, calling them to ask about your whereabouts, maybe when you fail to meet up your obligations of the loan, when you skip your payments and we have tried reaching you, we can reach you. We call your next of kin or we visit your next of kin. Or for example, something happens at the bank. For instance, someone comes to the bank and faints and we can't access the phone. If we have access to the account opening documents, we can call the next of kin to say, see what has happened to your relation in the bank. Can you come to so and so bank? Or, you know, something like that to keep the family abreast of a situation. Yes, so many people feel that the banks, especially those that divulge their their pins, divulge their login details. Despite all the preaching and all the talking, some people still give out their login details. People will call them and say, I'm from this bank. They don't even mention the bank. It's the callers that would even tell the thieves the bank and give their details. You have no idea how rampant these things happen on a daily, even amongst those that we deem literate, right? So some of these people, after they have been defrauded, all their money is cleared, they come to the bank, we check the account, we tell them, your balance is zero. Some of them will faint in the bank or collapse in the bank. We've seen so much. So we call your next of kin, say, madam, your guy has fainted, and we have taken him to this hospital, or so has been done. That is the best, the farthest a next of kin can go in the bank. So the question is, what then happens to these monies that you have saved in the bank? Who has the right to take them? Who has a right to inherit them? The only person whom a bank would give access and rights to the monies in the bank, at least in a Nigerian bank. I'm speaking for Nigeria. If your country or your jurisdiction is different, please drop in the comment section so we can all learn, right? I'm speaking as a banker who has done almost 10 years in Nigerian banks, several Nigerian banks. The only person that a bank will give that right to is any person who can come to the bank and present it with a letter of administration or a letter of execution. If you haven't watched our last previous videos, 4 or 5 videos back, our whole legal series, you do not want to miss it in your own interests, because we're talking about death and property, and some people might feel it's a very sensitive topic, but it is reality. Everybody will die, right? So we might as well talk about it so we can be informed, know our stand, and know the best steps to take, and know the impact of the decisions we have taken. Like some people for the first time discovered that contracting only a traditional marriage can lead to a different kind of inheritance. So many of my brothers, my African brothers, just thought that it would just give them a right to, do a lot of things. They didn't know the impacts it can have even after their demise. So it is very important that this information, I pass it to you guys. I enlightened us about the difference between a letter of administration and a letter of execution. Watch those other videos, but I'll just hint a little. So the letter of execution is obtained from the court when a man dies testate. He wrote a will, right? So the executors will just go to the court, get the letter of execution, and begin executing his estates. But a letter of administration is gotten when a man lives without a will. Now, if he's married statutorily and he lives without a will and there's no contest, the wife and the children should typically inherit. It is the wife and the children, if the children are grown enough, that would go to the court and obtain this letter of administration and bring to the court. Even if he had a customary marriage and there is no dispute, the family is not fighting anything, that is still the process. This fight about his property must be inherited in the customary tradition is when there is problem. So I saw some of my people in the comment section complaining, oh, I don't want to marry an Igbo man. It's not always like that. These are just contentious cases. Many times, the families don't even come to harass you. Exposure, enlightenment has changed a lot of things. These occurrences are more rampant in the rural areas, in the villages, right? But in modern dispensation, we get to see only fewer cases of contest. So when the spouse, the surviving spouse, has a right to go to the courts and get this letter of administration when there is no will. There are different courts in Nigeria. There's the customary court, there's the industrial court, Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Courts, there are different kinds of courts. So you might ask, which court has jurisdiction to offer this letter, to give this letter? It is the High Court. The High Court, the probate registry. There are different departments in the court, different registries. The probate registry is a registry that handles things like wills and administration of estates and properties. So you go to the probate registry, you get the letter of administration, and you bring to the bank. Now the question is, the next question, in fact, should have even come before the letter of administration. It is not every bank account that is funded. Some people have several bank accounts, some have monies, some do not have monies. And many times, spouses are discreet with their funds, for God knows why. Shouldn't be so. Ideally, it shouldn't be so, but in reality, we have to be pragmatic, right? In as much as I like to be an idealist, most times I still have to administer pragmatism. Pragmatically speaking, many people hide their funds from either their wives or their husbands. So you might not know how much your husband or your wife, your late husband or your late wife has in this particular account. So would you now go and start running up and down the courts and you now come to the bank after spending all that money obtaining the letter of administration? You now find out that this person has only 50 naira in the account. No, there is a first step. The first step to take if you want to access the monies that your spouse or your parents have left in the bank is to first obtain a death certificate. That is a very important document. The bank is going to ask for it. The probate registry is going to ask for it. When you get your death certificate, next you go to the probate registry and obtain a document called the bank certificate. It's just a small slip. And what does it do? It gives an order to the bank to reveal, to divulge, to disclose the amount of money that is in that late person's account. Not just the amount of money, to list out all the accounts that he or she has with the bank and their respective account balances. Without that court order, that bank certificate, no banker, no bank staff has the right or liberty to start disclosing another person's personal information. Whether you are the next of kin or not is inconsequential. It doesn't matter who you are. Even if you are the wife, you come with the children, you come crying, it is standard procedure. It is in our ethics that we do not just write out somebody's account balance and give you. That is wrong. I know that sometimes as bankers, yes, there's the principle, there's a policy, and there's also the human factor, right? Sometimes your discretion might kick in. Maybe when you see a very old woman and you've seen the account balance is just 20 naira there, instead of sending the old woman to go to start running up and down getting a bank certificate, you might just be tempted to just tell her, Mommy, there's nothing here. Don't bother. You can just move on. But that is discretionary and that is wrong, policy speaking. The proper thing for you to do, because sometimes you might do a favor to these customers and some of them would mess you up. They'll go and open their mouth and say, hey, this banker told me that my husband has 2 million naira in the account. Then you get into big trouble because that's a serious problem. You don't have authentication to do that. So when somebody comes and says, oh, my spouse has passed, I want to access the money, the first thing you have to do as a banker, the first thing we do as bankers is to advise the person to go to the court and get a bank certificate. So when this person comes with the bank certificate, then the accounts, the different account numbers and their respective balances would then be divulged to the person. Then the person would decide whether or not he or she wants to pursue the claim, because sometimes the cost of pursuing the claim is more than the amount in the bank, and you might just say, oh, please, and move ahead. So In the event that the money is substantial enough to pursue recovering it, then the next step is to go back to the High Court and get a letter of administration. You and the court will do everything you have to do. Of course, letter of administration are typically not granted to one person. There has to be at least two persons, maybe the spouse and the child, or two children, an older son and his younger son. But typically, the court will not grant a letter of administration to a single person. So after all the court process, you come to the bank with the death certificate, the letter of administration duly obtained, your valid ID card, not just any ID card, it has to be valid. That's a federal government issued ID card, like your driver's license, your international passport, your voter's card. Those are the kinds of ID cards that are allowed. All right. So you come to the bank with that ID, you come with your utility bill, you come with references if it's going to be a current account, and a passport photograph. The bank will not just give you the money upon presentation of those documentation. The bank will still do its due diligence. It's a process. You have to be patient. The bank will send its staff to take the letter of administration to the court for verification or validation, because this is Nigeria. In fact, forgery and falsification is a global issue, not just in Nigeria, but it's more rampant here, right? Anybody can go to a business center and print out anything and just duplicate a letter of administration, and the bank will now act on it. We will be in trouble. We will put ourselves in a position for litigation to be sued. So we have to validate that document. We send our staff to the probate registry, and the probate registrar would confirm that that document came from its office. So they will stamp that letter of administration, and that staff would come back to the bank having confirmed its authenticity. When the bank has all of this documentation, then the bank would close that account, the account of the late person, and open a new one. Not in your name, the beneficiary's name, still in the name of the late person, in the name of the estate of the late person. For example, if the late person's name is John Ibukwe, for example, the name of the account will be in the estate, or the estate of John Ibukwe. Then whatever funds that he had in his existing accounts that he used in his lifetime will be moved to his estate account, and the signatories would be those beneficiaries who are listed in the letter of administration. Then those beneficiaries can then draw from there. This is the process. So you don't have to start going to the bank fighting to change next of kin. When I was in banking, so many people will come to the bank with their husbands. Oh, please, I want to change my next of kin. It is a futile effort because it has no consequence when it comes to the funds in that account. A guy in NYC, I've seen small boys with girlfriends, small girls with boyfriends. They'll come to the bank to open their accounts. They can put the names of their boyfriends thinking that they're going to get married, and the relationship breaks, and they go ahead and marry someone else. So do you expect the bank to carry that person's money if the person didn't come back? So many people will not come back to change their next of kin. Do you expect the bank to take that money? Maybe the guy has become a big boy. He left with 100 million in his account. So you expect the bank to take that 100 million and now give his NYC girlfriend that he filled on the account opening form 15 years ago. That is not possible. So the next of kin has no single effect on your monies in the bank. It is only those who produce the letter of administration that would have access to a person's monies in the bank. How can this process be made easier? Because believe me, the running back and forth, up and down might be hectic. It might take some time. It will cost you money. One way that people, not just men especially, because in Nigeria, mostly men are the providers. One way that a partner, a spouse, can make things easier for his or her spouse when they pass is by either running a joint account with your spouse or giving your spouse signatory rights to your account. I have seen it severally. Some men do really trust their wives with money, but some do not. So it depends on the kind of marriage that you have. Those men that really involve their wives, that do not want their wives to suffer all this will, all this customary, all this probate, all these things, they include their wife's name in their documents, landed properties, everything. I see it. My job exposed me to a lot of human behavior, especially when it comes to money, property, and marriage. But some men, their wives do not even know that those accounts exist. So one way that you can mitigate these stress that might come up in the event of your demise is by inculcating your wife in your activities. Believe you me, in all my experience as a banker, we have never called a late man's relation and say, oh, your husband has 50 million here, please come and take it. Please, if you're a banker in Nigeria and you have ever done that, please drop in the comment section. You will stay there because you are doing wayo, koni. You don't want your wife to see what you're sending to your side chick. You're hiding your money. If something happens to you, don't worry. Don't worry. That's your hide. Your money would lie there for life. Because hardly, in practice, do you see any bank start calling relations to say, hey, come and take the money your husband. Your husband has one money here. Oh, have you seen? Come and take it. Nobody might tell you. So keep hiding from your spouse. That is why I'll keep opening your eyes to the reality, opening your eyes to the right things to do. If you have a good, decent, responsible partner, emphasis on responsible partner, decent human being that you have been blessed with as a partner, involve them in your finances. Let them know what you have and where you have them. You can add the person as a signatory to your account if you trust that person, that the person will not go and start withdrawing your money. If you want to purchase a property, you can add your spouse's name. That way that person becomes a co-owner, and these issues of brother coming, it will be limited. So that is what we have on the next of kin. If you're in other sectors, if you're in aviation, if you're in medicine, if you're in insurance, whatever sector that you're in, do let us know in the comment section what next of kin is in your sector. If you have experience working in banks in other countries, do also let us know in the comment section if a next of kin automatically has claim and access to a deceased person's money when they pass. Let us share, because sharing is caring. Let us share all we have down in the comment section. And if you like this policy, let me know in the comment section. If you do not like it, if you prefer that it should have been straightforward, next of kin should just have access to the money, do let us know down in the comment section your train of thoughts and why you think so. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, see my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.